Welcome to Ignite Intimacy, a podcast exploring intimacy, romantic relationships, sexuality, and everything that relates to these hot topics. We're going in. Are you ready? This is your host, Laura Aisha. Let's do this. Hello, Ignite Intimacy community. This is your host, Miss Laura Aisha, and I am super stoked to bring you today's episode with Miss Miki Agrawal. This woman is total Goddess Powerhouse. She's a serial entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. She is a mom. She's a creative, disruptive being in the world that is challenging the status quo and saying, nah, we could do this better. And she's actually creating products and movements that are supporting us with our hearts, minds, bodies, and souls and planet Earth to be more sustainable, more conscious, more healthy. So you have got a very cool episode coming up for you today. I hope you enjoy it. We dive into so many different topics. I mean, we certainly talk about entrepreneurship and innovation. Also talk about disrupting your love lives and love contracts and self-care, being a twin, dispelling myths around relationships, sex, and sexuality. So get on in there, enjoy, stay up for the very end. We'll have another poem from Noelle. And yeah, we'll see you on the flip side of this episode. Cool. Enjoy. Peace for now. Mwah. What's up, Ignite Intimacy community? This is your host, Miss Laura Aisha, and I am super stoked to be on the line today with another twin Goddess Powerhouse sister. We've got Miki Agrawal on the line today. What is going on, Miki?
Hi. Hi. So happy to be here.
I know, it's great to be here with you. As I was just sharing with you, I've been following your journey for a long time and have been really inspired and intrigued by what you've been creating in the world. So I'm super happy that we're able to be here together today. It took something to get here.
Right? I know it certainly did, but we are here now. I'm so grateful. And yeah, it was a little, my son was a little under the weather this week. Well, quite under the weather this week. And it was a little like, we had to finally like just suck it up and give him antibiotics. And I usually, it just sucks, but we're also giving probiotics to kind of counter that. But it's just, I'm always trying to do like the home remedy first. And then his nose like runs like a faucet for like 2 weeks. And you're like, all right. Okay.
I know, I'm familiar with that world. I mean, it's like motherhood can be a takeover at times. And so Miki and I are the same age pretty much. And Miki's has what, a 4-month-old, 6-month-old?
I have a 21-month-old.
Oh yeah. Okay. Your son is a little bit older. Okay.
Yeah.
So 21-month-old running around, starting to talk, it's a total takeover. And my daughter's 21. So it's like, so that's interesting. Yours is 21 months. My daughter's 21 years. And, mothering it's a wild and wonderful journey. That's what I tell people. I'm like, motherhood is a wild and wonderful journey.
Yeah.
It's like a rodeo at times. So yeah, I'm just super grateful that we were able to sync up. And I love that you've got a little one.
I know. It's great. I can't believe yours is 21 years old.
I know. It's crazy.
The same age. I'm so hats off to you. And the fact that you did, you raised your son?
My daughter.
Your daughter. You raised your daughter from, as a single mom for most of her life. It's just, like I was saying to you earlier, sometimes it takes 4 people in my household to take care of one baby. So I'm really just so impressed and in awe of that.
Totally. Well, and, we had tons of support. Her father was around and, we lived in different towns, but not too far apart. And my parents and his parents definitely helped wherever awesome. And however they could, which was super, super helpful. And at the end of the day, it's like, when you're the cook, cleaner, driver, worker, like managing all of that for your household, it's a lot, so hats off to all the single parents out there, whether or not your baby father, mother is in the mix, being a single parent in your own home is a lot to manage.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so, yeah, so hats off to everyone out there who's managing that. So we were talking before we pressed record, and like Miki and I haven't even meditated on like what topics are we going to cover, but Miki's a goddess powerhouse. She's an entrepreneur. She's total, like, I want to come up with a new term instead of badass, because there's something about that. I want to, like, I'm like, what is the new thing? I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to come up with it and start using it. However, like, enough respect, you've created, you're a disruptor, you're an activator, you're bright, powerful light in the world that is taking the status quo and just like throwing it out the window and blowing it up and saying like, what else is there, you know? And it's confronting for a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think whenever you just push against societal conditioning and preconditioning, you do end up ruffling some feathers. I mean, some people are just like, oh, thank God, I wanted this too. And then some people are just set in their old ways, and you know, more power to them. But then they get really triggered by trying to shift society and culture forward. And I think my goal ultimately has always been to improve the lives of human beings, elevate the lives of human beings, and support the planet and the planetary resources at the same time. So whether it's, you know, through supporting local farmers, and, you know, all the way to, you know, helping divert, you know, millions of trees from getting chopped down and turned into toilet paper, or, you know, 20 billion tampon applicators that end up in landfills, which, you know, pads and diapers, all those things take between 500 to 800 years to break down fully
Oh my God.
in a landfill, and to help create products that are both an elevated human experience, but then also help support the environment at the same time.
That's amazing. Well, and that's the power of social entrepreneurship. You know, when you're thinking in terms of how can I create something and be creating independently for my family, for my community, for my livelihood, and then also have it be that it impacts people, places, things, Mother Earth, our environment in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. So
correct.
Yeah. So that's like, I mean, that's where the real juice and power is. It's not just about you making a ton of money or blah, blah, blah. It's really about you creating a sustainable and thriving existence for you and your family and community, and then also for the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really the whole motivation to keep going. I think it's really all about shifting consciousness for the better. So our generation and the next beyond that have, you know, we've left it a better world. I mean, we were only here for a very short amount of time. You know, in my book, my book that just came out called Disrupt Her, in Disrupt Her, I talk about how from the point we graduate college to the point we die, we only have about 21,000 days to live. And, you know, the question is like, what are we going to do with that time? And what is our contribution going to be during that time? And is it going to be spent just talking shit, trolling on people, and, you know, being mean to each other, and just talking shit about ourselves to ourselves, and hurting the planet by buying more stuff that we don't need? Or is it really going to be about us thinking about what is our disruptive contribution going to be? What is a thing that we're going to make better in society, in the world, for the planet, while we're here for a short amount of time? And I think that's really what I care about.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, so you did just release this book, and you've launched several successful businesses. You just released this book, Disrupt Her. So, and I'm curious about, because Ignite Intimacy is about sex intimacy, romance, and all of the things that go along with that, I certainly want to focus our conversation a bit on, like, how have you disrupted love and sex and intimacy in your own life? So we're going to get there. However, give us...
No, I have a whole chapter about it in my book.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So we'll hone in on that. However, give our audience just a little snippet of what this book is about, and maybe some of the areas that you touch on in the book.
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, a little background. So I spent the last 15 years of my life really looking at categories that are taboo in society, and using disruptive, innovative products to really shift the conversation in those categories. So, for example, in the period space, when I first started Thinx, nobody was talking about period proof underwear or periods at all. Not even obviously nobody was talking about period proof underwear, but nobody was talking about periods. Periods were taboo. It was considered shameful. If you, were on your period, you kind of like were very hush hush about it. You put your tampon in your sleeve and just very quietly went to the bathroom without anyone knowing what was going on. And when you feel shame in the most natural human experience and you're told to keep quiet around it, it really does affect the rest of your life. And I think when you are able to really liberate people around a topic that is quote unquote shameful, it does liberate them in every other aspect of their lives. And so
absolutely,
for me, I think it was really powerful to create a product and invent a product with my co-founders that was all around creating an innovative underwear that did not leak, that did not stain, that supported women, that absorbed, blood, and that was antimicrobial, that really felt and looked like a sexy pair of underwear, but actually had technological, properties in it that supported us on our periods. And so it made women feel liberated on our periods, which then made women feel comfortable to talk about it. And that was an amazing thing. And it's shifted the consciousness for millions and millions of women around the world who use our product. And then,
let me just dig into that for a second with you. So you are half Japanese, half Indian, East Indian.
Yes.
So was part of the inspiration for Thinx because I'm thinking about the new Netflix documentary called Period, and
exactly, all that followed the sort of disruption.
Yeah. And so was part of the inspiration like, okay, there are millions and millions and millions and millions of females around the globe who miss school because of their periods, who don't have any way of collecting the blood from their periods, who, have to sort of sequester themselves when they are on their periods. Was that part of the inspiration to create something like Thinx?
Absolutely. I mean, our give back mission was interwoven so tightly in the original mission, which was for every pair of underwear sold, we fund, a woman a pair of a menstrual kit that lasts them over a year to women in the developing world. And so we've helped hundreds of thousands of women manage their periods better and actually have products to keep them in school. And then the company then shifted to offering more of like a global girls club, which is more than just offering menstrual products, which is really important, but really giving girls and women the tools to really get themselves out of their sort of situation into a much more empowered one. And I think that's sort of like, teaching a woman to fish, giving her, food for a lifetime. And I think that was something that we shifted from, but the whole journey has been really empowering.
Amazing.
For us all. And now I'm so excited about my newest company, which is called TUSHY, and definitely check out Hello TUSHY, TUSHY.com. Do not go to tushy.com. It's a very graphic porn site. Go to hellotushy.com. And what TUSHY is really looking at the antiquated way we go to the bathroom. I mean, you think about the way we're talking right now on the phone, we're talking on our Zoom call, and we have technology at our fingertips, and so much is just so advanced. We have more access to information today via Google than the president did less than 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And, we really have achieved a lot in technology. And yet the minute we step into our bathrooms, poof, we're back into the 1800s. So,
Totally.
Toilet paper was brought to America in the late 1800s and 1890s and has not changed since then. And there was just a crazy disconnect around why Americans have not used water instead of paper. And the truth is, like the Scott's brothers and Charmin and all those, families and companies that had money were able to market this sort of really soft paper consumable product that you can use over and over again, which made them billions of dollars, but only hurt the planet. 15 million trees are cut every single year just for toilet paper consumption.
Oh my God.
The entire Canadian boreal forest is being decimated. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of year old forests are being chopped down to just wipe your butt with, which doesn't even work.
Holy crap.
When you think about like what you're doing, like imagine if you jump in the shower and not turn the water on and just use toilet paper to wipe down your body. And you're like, I'm clean. People would be like, you're crazy, or the same thing with your dirty dishes. If you went to your dirty dish sink and you like rather than using water to wash your dishes, you just take dry paper and like wiped your dish down. People would be like, and then put your dish away into the cupboard. People would be like, I think that's not clean, you know? And I think we've just been so deeply indoctrinated to believe that this dry paper is going to properly wipe the dirtiest part of our bodies. And what ends up happening is you end up sitting on fecal matter all day long, which causes infections and diseases to the tune of 30 million combined cases of chronic urinary tract infections. Hemorrhoids are way exacerbated by rubbing, you know, anal fissures, anal itching, all those things. Anal fissures are exacerbated even further when you use wet wipes, because wet wipes actually strip away the natural oils from behind, which cause anal fissures and start to really break the skin back there. And it's just so obvious that water is a universal cleaner, as a universal solvent. And we've just been so brainwashed into thinking that this dry paper thing was going to properly clean us. And so what we've created is a simple, modern, sexy, beautiful, affordable bidet that you easily attach to your toilet and turns any toilet into a bidet in less than 10 minutes. And there's no plumbing, no electrical required. It doesn't pull the water from your tank or your bowl. It pulls it from the wall, the same water you brush your teeth with. And it's the most epic, clean, precise shower for your butt. And it's just like, it's such a duh thing. And then you use 80% less toilet paper to pat dry, or you can even shake dry, or we have organic bamboo butt towels to pat dry with your butt because you're clean. You're just patting dry. And you save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year, and you spend only $69 on this product. So in 3 months' time, you're paid back on the amount of toilet paper you use. From a water consumption perspective, you know, the one single roll of toilet paper requires 37 gallons of water to make one roll of toilet paper. And the average American uses 57 sheets of toilet paper per day. And so that basically equates to 55 gallons of water per week that you're saving by using water, a bidet, to properly clean you. It's like duh. And you're saving trees, and you're saving, it's just like the bleach, the processes, the thing, plastic wrapping to get to transportation, the fuel to get to your store, like you name it. It's just like unbelievable how much resources you're saving by actually properly cleaning you. Also, it's just a no-brainer.
Well, yeah. And it doesn't make any sense, the whole toilet paper space. I mean, I think even just in West Africa, you just have a little container by this toilet, and you just fill it with water. And when you're done, you just pour it on you and, you know, clean yourself. And then you just pat dry. It's very simple. Yeah. And
we now just have a portable travel bidet as well, which basically you don't even have to connect to anything. You can just take it with you, or you can just have it in your bathroom, and it just like completely shifts you away and you feel clean. It's just like duh. And so when I think about disruptive innovation, and you think about like, what are the things that will completely shift culture and shift consciousness? It's, you know, you absolutely, it has to be affordable to the masses, because bidets have existed in the past. But, you know, when you think about them, you know, in Japan, they're like thousands of dollars. They require plumbing and electrical. And in America, you know, most Americans now are renting, especially the young generation. And a shift is really hard to like, I'm going to now take my toilet out, spend all this money on a bidet. Like, it's just too much, you know, or it's too expensive. And then, you know, there are even cheaper bidet attachments that are, you know, like less than $69, but they're ugly. They look like contraptions. They look like something's wrong with you. And so we really want to create an affordable product to the masses that really shifted people into the feeling of, wow, I feel really cool with this product. When you know, we have like our million, we've sold millions of dollars worth of these products already. And our customers, like, you know, on a daily basis say, we throw parties to just show people our new bidet because we love it so much. And it just shows that the consciousness is shifting around not talking about poop, running out of the bathroom, to being like, look, we installed something really cool that both cleans us better, makes us feel cool because it's beautiful to look at, it's modern, it's designer, and it saves trees. Like, it actually gives you like brownie points in society. And so the disruptive innovation is basically an innovation that creates a new market, which eventually overtakes an existing market. And you think about the Model T car, like, you know, before cars existed, the horse and buggy basically ruled, you know, like the land. And only when, and you know, there were cars that existed, but only for the rich and well, you know, for the wealthy. And only until the Model T car came that was affordable to the masses, did it completely shift, the entire market and disrupt the category.
Well, and it's like, it's like, if you don't know it, if you haven't seen it, if you're not aware of it,
Yeah.
you don't know. And
right.
So I remember, always like being like, what are these bidet things? And I would see them in some of my travels, and I would, but I really didn't understand it. And it seemed kind of weird to me. And then I have a friend in LA who's got one, and it's just amazing. And like, I was just like, okay, this is life-changing. And I love this thing. And like, even like the toilet seat is warm when I sit down, and like, and it's just, yeah. So anyways, so definitely we'll have the hellotushy.com link in the show notes, but let's talk about disrupting sex and love and intimacy. Like, because there are all different ways that we can disrupt in our lives and actually take something that's been status quo, something that's been just the way that it's been for so freaking long. And then we can choose to actually do something about that and create something new. So talk to us a bit about how you have disrupted love and sex and intimacy in your own life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so in Disruptor, in my book, Disruptor, I talk all about how to snag your snag. And a snag is a secure new age guy, and like a guy that really feels still masculine and still like sexy masculine, but also is really in touch with his emotions, really is keen to do deep work within himself, and always wants to learn and grow as a human being within himself and with his partner. And I think we all have the opportunity to create snags and also snag one, by simply recognizing that, if all women came together and said, I will never procreate with someone who is not going to lift me up and make me feel beautiful and powerful, and I will never basically have babies with an asshole. You know what I mean? And if we all did that, we women hold the power of humanity inside our wombs. And so we have the choice as to who we want to be with. And, we've been also indoctrinated by society that, the James Dean bad boy vibes is what we want. How often do you hear from your girlfriends, nah, he was too nice, didn't get a lady boner. You know what I mean? So he was out. And I think if we shifted that to, hey, like, nice is sexy and cool, good is sexy. And it's not a guy treating you like an asshole makes you want to desire him more, which makes him more, a chase, and makes it more. It's just like, all it does is create more grief and pain. And sure, like, the sex might be hot for a second, but then it's just like tormenting. And so I think we just have to all shift what sexy is. And that's disruptive, in and of itself. And
yeah. Well, but also we have to shift how we feel and relate to ourselves in order to see that we can have something that is more aligned with, love and care and connection and freedom. It's like, and that's where, I mean, I know for me, self-love has been a really big part of my journey, because I was 29, brought to my knees because I created a scenario that ended in such utter and complete heartbreak that I had no other choice but to look at myself and say, you can't do this to yourself again. Like, it will kill you, and you need to, my twin sister was like, we got into this massive fight in Hawaii. I brought my daughter out there and I was very raw. And, my sister said, you need to learn how to love yourself. And I remember looking at her like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that even means. Like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what that looks like. I literally had no idea, like, what, and so, so it's like, that's a big part of attracting people into our lives, whether it's, to just be inclusive of all the gender types that are out there. Whatever you are attracting, like, let us create that we love ourselves so that we can attract people who love themselves and who will love us too. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 100%. And I think that's it. If we shift into self-love first and say like, hey, I want to be kind to myself, and I want to really take care of myself, and I want to, like, I want to console myself in the same way I console my friends and my people I love. And oftentimes we're so extra hard on ourselves, and we blame ourselves for so much. And then we think that we just deserve someone who treats us like shit, because that's how we feel about ourselves. And so the minute we're like, wait, I am secure in who I am. I do love myself. I do feel like I'm, in alignment with my purpose, and I'm in integrity with what I'm thinking, feeling, and saying everywhere I go. And then when you do that work, you just start to attract the people that you actually want to attract. But it starts with self-work. You can't just try and be with different people and then just, it doesn't work out, because that deep work within ourselves hasn't been done. I've spent the last 6 years working with my life and leadership coach every single week for 90 minutes. And it's completely changed my life, because I'm constantly being forced to look at myself and take radical responsibility to, deal with all the things that has been that happened to me, that have happened to me, that are happening, that are just, that are happening for me, and totally replacing 2 with 4. And I think that it's so critical to do that. And then when you do finally find your snag, your guy who really is the person that you want to be with, now it's about really, how do you keep it hot, and how do you keep it fun? And I have I have that in my book as well. Like I created, my coach sat down with Andrew, my partner, and me, and we worked through a love contract, and we created a love contract. And what a love contract simply is just a set of rules that we both literally sign off on each rule and hold sacred. And if we do not abide by these rules, then the other person owes the other really fun punishments. Like you owe me dinner, or you have to give me a massage, or you have to, you have to cook me dinner, and different things like that, where the punishment isn't this like, I can't believe you didn't do that. We had rules and you broke them, and it becomes this extra fight. It's more like, it's like fun. It's fun, like it's a fun punishment. And so the love,
I would call it like grown love.
Yeah. And so yeah, totally. And so I think that some of our in the love contract, some of the rules that we have are like, intimate times the sex, like basically sex 2 to 3 times per week. And we end up averaging out to twice a week. I mean, this week it was 4 times because we're working on having a baby. But usually it's about twice a week, and really creating that intimate, sacred time when it's not just like quickly, let's go, we're done. It's more like I massage him. I sort of like play with his hair. I give him like, because he has like arm, he has, when you're typing too much, he has
tendinitis or whatever, or
carpal tunnel. Yeah. So I massage his arms and his hands, and I like really take care of him. And then he then lays me down and tickles me, and like it does all the things I like. And then, we just have sacred, we put really beautiful music on, and then we have the sacred connecting, and then we have deep, intimate sex and connection, and it's really beautiful. And we really honor the space twice a week. And usually one of us has to initiate. And I used to always get upset with him in the beginning, where I'm like, I'm always initiating sex. And what my coach says is that there will always be one person that's more of the initiator in different departments. Like he might initiate in going to get dinner and going on a date night, but you might initiate in sex, or you might, and you can't be like, oh, I'm always one initiating. Because at first I would get resentful about that. But then when I realized that that's just my role in this relationship, but his role was to always say yes to me at least 2 to 3 times a week. You know, so when I asked for it, his answer was absolutely, I'm in. Not like, oh, not in the mood, later, tomorrow. Because he used to do that in the beginning, and I would get really sad about that. And so in the rules, we would, if I was to ask him, hey, how about tomorrow morning? He'd be like, oh my God, yes. And he would make me feel, and he'd be like, I can't wait, And so it just shifted the way I felt in asking, and it made it exciting, because we knew that it was, because we negotiated. Because my coach was like, how many times do you want to have sex a week? And I was like, I would love 5 times a week, because I just love being with you. And it's one of the only times in my life I get to feel truly in my feminine. because, I'm an entrepreneur and I have to really tap into my masculine side more and really make decisions and, and do that. And so it's really the intimate moments with my husband are really the times when I feel truly feminine. So for me, that's a true balancing piece in my life. And so I would like to have more, but for him, it was like once or twice a week because his libido is just less than mine. That's totally fine. And so we negotiated to 2 to 3 times, and we both signed off on it, which meant that we were both okay with that. And we both and we realized that compromise is what you have to have in relationships. And so it's not like my way or the highway. And I'm of course very strong-willed and
you're powerful.
Yeah. And so it's, that's why having a third party there to really negotiate the love contract and really getting you to get that it's okay to really meet in the middle. It's not like, oh, I'm like not getting everything I want in my life because I'm not having sex with you 5 times. It's like, oh no, I really can feel fully satisfied and satiated, because of some of the other new love rules that we put into place, which were like, so during that time, and we still do it to this day. We said it 5 years ago, which was 4 compliments per day. And, we signed off on that. And it's just more like, oh, I love what you're wearing. Oh my God, your hair looks really good today. Oh my God, what you said to me really, made me feel good. Just like affirmations. And I think that when you get so comfortable in relationships, you forget to be like, if we're naked around each other, because I'm taking a shower, in the beginning, I'd be like, I'm naked. Aren't you going to say something about my body?
Yeah. Like, aren't you going to, admire me?
Or just make me feel good. And so now it's like it's like if I take my clothes off and jump in the shower, he's like, wow, your butt looks really good. You've been working out. You know what I mean? Like just like little compliments like that make me feel like, okay, great. Like I feel seen. I feel loved. I don't feel taken for granted.
Yeah. Well, it's like feeding the relationship. It's like we feed ourselves every day food, right? And you have to feed also the relationship, and especially over the long term. And I really haven't had any long-term relationships yet in my adult life, like any real conscious, not because we were pregnant, not because, like real, like consciously choosing each other. And so I'm really excited for whenever that comes into my mix and I get to create that. And it's so fun to hear how you're talking about this. And another thing something that's been coming up for me a lot is, and this is really vulnerable for me to share this, but it's something that's really been a thorn in the side of my life and my relationships. And it's that I make other people wrong because I want to be right. And I don't like to be bad and wrong, because if I'm bad and wrong, then I'm not worthy to exist. And it's not like, okay, that I exist. So I'm tackling this, like, where in my life do I want to make other people bad and wrong? And then how can I make them right?
Yeah. So here's what I've realized through the work with my coach, and who's really helped me and Andrew work through some really challenging times, which is, it's to share everything that we're feeling. So like, I'm feeling this, like when you said that, it really triggered me with this, that, and the other. And then the other person has to then hear you and acknowledge what you said. And then the opposite has to be true. They have to share what they're feeling, and you have to acknowledge what they say. And I've had a really hard time in the beginning acknowledging what they say until I really did the work with Lauren. And she says that it's like, would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy, or would you rather resolve? And so, and that's the thing. It's just like, I'm like, right, and then you're like, all right, fine. I want to be happy. And so eventually I go in and I'm like, I hear you when you did this, like you didn't feel seen because you went outside and took care of like all the trash or whatever. And I was like, you never do the dishes, but or whatever it was, it just like, he just didn't feel acknowledged for the work that he was doing, or, and that sort of built up with time. And I then was like, oh, okay. So I need to acknowledge him and not just like kind of nitpick at the things that he's not doing, but actually acknowledge the things that he is doing. And so it just like kind of like finding those moments of like resolution and really sitting down, not when you're heated, like, you can't, like, I'm in a fight right now with one of my girlfriends, and I just need some time to cool off because I felt like she wasn't there for me during a really, really painful moment in my life. And instead she made it about herself, and I was just like, I can't believe that. And so then I called my coach. She also has the same coach as me. And so our coach, mediated the moment separately, and I'm just taking some space, and, there will be a resolution when there is a cooling moment. And I think that, in that cooling moment, I will acknowledge, where she's coming from, and I think that happens when you're in the right mind space. And I think, you can't really resolve when you're really hot and heated. It just doesn't work. And it especially doesn't work for strong-willed women like me, or sounds like with you. So, so just finding those really like sitting down and hearing the other person's, like with real, even if you're like sitting in your righteousness, to really like put yourself in the other person's shoes does actually make you feel better, because you're like, oh wow, like I really do empathize with where they're coming from. And then they find you to be actually more attractive when you see their side.
Totally.
So yeah, it's just sort of, and again, like, and like Andrew and I also, in the very beginning of our relationship, because he's had this relationship with his mother, we set a sort of, 2-word, reset, and we say fresh start. And what that means is, like if we get into a stupid, argument or something that's just dumb or irrelevant, and we get really heated about it, we take a moment to cool off. And then, Andrew or I would be, I'd be like, okay, I'm ready for a fresh start. And then Andrew's like, are you ready for a fresh start? And I'm like, I'm ready for a fresh start. And when we say that, after, if I'm not ready for a fresh start, then I'll say like, no, I'm not ready. And I'd like you to hear what I have to say about what I'm feeling. And then he'll, hear me or not. And then we'll keep it a moment. And then where I'm like, all right, I'm ready for a fresh start. So then we're ready for a fresh start. We then don't bring it up again. We don't bring up, and then when you said this, and then you like build up to like all this past wrongs, and you kind of use all these past wrongs to, to support your current argument. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Right. And so when you say fresh start, the idea is that you really are starting fresh, like a blank slate, like nothing, like you have a new relationship.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do. And if you're not ready for a fresh start, or you've not resolved, then you're not ready for a fresh start. But then if you are ready for a fresh start, then you actually have to say fresh start, and you cannot bring back the old shit. And when I do bring back the old shit, because sometimes we're humans and we do that, I have to call my coach and throw up and tell her what happened, and be like, hey, like I broke the fresh start rule by bringing that up, and I felt really bad. And then and then you have real consequences. Like some consequences are, you have to like give the other person $20, when you are wrong, or buy them a meal, or pay for something, or throw $20 out the window. Like there's like different consequences that people have, and money is a really good one, because people really are really,
funny about money.
Yeah. And so as a result, when you're like, all right, money's at stake here, and you actually make that promise and that rule that like, if you don't do this, like you owe me $20, or you have to throw $20 out the window, or you have to give $20 to the next like homeless person you see, which is fine. But like, at the same time, it's like, all right, like I'm going to, think twice before I bring that up, again. So,
and it's like, so my twin sister's been my biggest teacher with this.
Yeah, I get that. Because they know all of our triggers, don't they?
Oh yeah. And, and we, so I want to adjust what I said about not having any long-term relationships in my life, because I've had 2 very long-term relationships, and one has been with my twin sister and one has been with my daughter. And so I have had long-term relationships, just not long-term romantic relationships yet. And, for us, we're twins. We grew up with mirror all our lives, and my twin sister has been really about this reflective listening. And sometimes it just gets me to the core. It makes me angry. Like I get angry. I can get angry around it. And then I also know the power of it. And when we can actually, and when I am big enough to just be like, this is not about you being bad and wrong. Like this is just about peace, creating peace, and you want peace, and you both want peace. So like, what is the quickest access to peace? And no matter what, no matter who did what, and being mindful of taking that need to be right and the need to rehash and the need to, bring it up again or whatever. Taking that out of the mix and being really mindful and attentive to where that wants to come out, where you just want to, you want to dig into someone. And,
Right.
and when I choose not to do that, something shifts on a cellular level in my body.
Yeah, I agree. And then you feel so proud of yourself, right?
Totally.
I do. I know when I fight my sister, which happens a lot, like we're twins, she knows all my buttons, she knows all my triggers. I know all of hers. And so it's just like, there's one time that we were really upset with each other. And then Andrew, my husband, like mediated it. And then we both saw each other, said what each other was feeling. And then we hugged it out and we were fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wow, that was powerful.
Yep.
And so I think that it was really cool to feel those moments, and it happened the same thing, like in all the aspects of my life. Like every time I really do resolve in a powerful way, I feel much better about how it went down versus really like losing my shit,
Totally.
And being like, I just can't believe you did that, this, that, and the other.
And it's almost like, well, believe it. You know what I mean? Like, just believe it. And it happened. And I wanted to make someone so wrong this week about a couple of different things. A man that I'm really fond of. And, oh man, I wanted to make him wrong for some of the choices that he made. And as it related to me. And
got it.
And I did what you did. I called my coach, or I texted my coach. I was like, I want to make this guy so wrong right now. And I don't want to do it. Like, please, like, save me from myself, you know? And so she's like,
yes.
You need to get to nothing around it. It's not his job to make you feel this way. It's not his job to make you feel that way. You have no agreements around this thing that you're upset about. You have, and it was like, okay, all right. Yeah. I totally see that I am whipping up a storm right now. And
yeah, totally.
And then
we love drama. Like women, we know, we are
the energy of it, right?
Yeah. So
I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful that we carved out this precious time together. And, these are all powerful and important things. It's like innovating in ourselves, self-love, innovating in our lives and our relationships, innovating for the good of all beings and the earth. These are some of the core facets of a life lived with purpose and potential and sharing our magic, and the fullest expression of our contribution in the world. Right. So I just want to, big up yourself, Miki, and, so much love and respect to you. I look forward to a time when we can see each other in the flesh and I can give you a big squeeze. And I look forward to witnessing your journey. Tell us again, what are kind of like your top links that our audience can go to find out more about your products, your book, and what you're up to in the world?
Yes. So you can go to, well, first, I would love I do all of my social stuff on Instagram. So you can check out at Miki Agrawal, MikiAgrawal. Check out definitely hellotushy.com. It will change your life. And if you want to read my books, Do Cool Shit and Disrupt Her are both on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the books. If you want to check out the book launch video I did where I'm being birthed out of a vagina, go to disrupther.co. And then all my other projects you can find at mikiagrawal.com.
Excellent. Okay, great. So we've got mikiagrawal.com, hellotushy.com, disrupther.co. We'll have all of those links in the show notes. And do you have any social links that you'd like to share?
Yep, at Miki Agrawal on Instagram and at hellotushy on Instagram would be awesome.
Awesome. Okay, sweet. So thank you so much, love. What a great pleasure. Keep going, keep creating. We have our eyes on you, mama, and just love up the family for us. Hello, Ignite Intimacy. I'm like, hello, Tushy. That's like so in my space right now. I can't wait to check it out.
I'm saying hi to you on the video right now too.
Oh, nice. Okay, here I will.
I'm in a robe.
I love it. So it's cool because Miki's in Brooklyn, and this is the power of This is the power of technology. I'm in San Miguel de Allende.
Yeah, and San Miguel has the worst plumbing system too. All Mexico City,
Yeah.
So using a bidet is a no-brainer.
Totally. And you're like wiping yourself and then throwing it in the trash.
It's ridiculous. I know, exactly. So imagine having a bidet. It's just like, it turns the experience. I mean, the aesthetic of San Miguel is so stunning, and then the bathroom experience is so gross. And so to be able to have a simple bidet that attaches to all the toilets will save Mexico's plumbing system. So
Totally.
If anybody wants to become a distributor in Mexico, let me know.
I got my eyes on you. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
So much love, Mama.
So much love to you.
Yeah. Okay. Mwah.
All right.
Hasta luego, and we'll see you in the future.
Yes. Take care.
Ciao for now. Bye. All right. Ignite Intimacy. You heard it here. Miki Agrawal and I, two twins, going in on some good, juicy topics. Love, connection, communication, innovation, product design, saying yes to that which we know is actually possible and true, saying no to all the BS that we've been fed so that companies can profit in the billions of dollars. And, truly being the change and the energy that we want to see in the world. So I'm inspired and energized by this conversation. I hope you are as well. Let us know what you think. hello@igniteintimacy.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Ignite Intimacy. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. Wherever you are, however you are, stay blessed. Thank you for being, and ciao for now.
Giving it back to Iron John. For some time now, I have been leaning on the door jamb, looking ahead as though I had stepped through, but in all the old ways, I was still the same. Only my idea of it was different. I still clutched the keys in my hand to already unlocked doors, but even that game couldn't stop the scent of him coming my way. Some time ago, I discovered this about sexual potency. Girl, you are it. You don't have to enact it. But not until now, not until I saw the damage, was I willing to make love sacrifice. Not to waste time changing, but to mature. Iron John, the wild man, hunted me down, ready to calmly kill to get what I had of his. I pretended I could hold it, that I was being of service, but it was code for thievery and control. This, the shadow of my feminine. This, a motive long used up. And so we stood naked, and his stare dissolved everything but skin. No room for being of service to man, matching man, leading or being led by man. Nothing but man stood before me, and nothing but the unrefined earth of me could stand it. Sensitivity. I used to think I could just take it, that I was tough. I did not call it toughened. But when a new order of love oiled my skin and the water barrier dried, I could tell I was as sensitive as ever was as a tiny new body, ever was with a fresh mind in a field which I could feel equally, the shiny beetle and my grandmother, the snake and the oak, even the car engine idling too high. Nothing again in the way except, again, my own heart opening and closing, trying to take it all in, but couldn't, but can now.
Thanks for tuning in to another conversation on the Ignite Intimacy podcast hotline. We love that you choose to spend your time with us. Check us out at igniteintimacy.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a review and a rating. It helps more people know about us. We love to hear from you. You can email us with questions, comments, or suggestions to hello@igniteintimacy.com. And tell your friends. Music was arranged by Jason Pfaff and Mike Corey, and this podcast is produced by yours truly, Laura Aisha. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, let your light shine bright and ignite your intimacy.